It is Police Academy night tonight, and tonight's topic is de-escalation techniques. There's only a couple more weeks left of my series on the Community Police Academy. Let me know if you've enjoyed watching this series, and I will talk to you after class tonight.
This is the lieutenant who taught the class. He's been on the force for 20 years and he teaches it not only to officers in my local department, but he is asked to teach the class around my state, occasionally teaching it out of state to other police agencies and at law enforcement conferences. The de-escalation course has been determined to be a beneficial program to share with different departments, especially with the new cadets prior to their graduation and their first active duty assignments. Can you imagine having a job where you are verbally assaulted daily by the very people you strive to protect? Day in and day out, eventually it would take its toll, and if you're already having a bad day, it could be adding fuel to an already burning fire. After all, officers are humans too. Of course, no one wants an officer on the force with a short fuse. The class aims to instill a constant manner of professionalism when faced with adversity and challenges. Verbal conflict is a fact of life. We define verbal de-escalation as verbal and nonverbal communication techniques most likely to diffuse hostility, avoid physical aggression, and obtain the voluntary compliance of another, whenever safety is not unduly compromised. Verbal de-escalation techniques also assist the communicator in maintaining professional composure in the face of verbal hostility and abuse. Goals of surviving verbal conflict training. Provide public service professionals with expanded verbal de-escalation tools. Enhance public service professionals and citizen safety. Improve relationships between the public service agency and the community. This book, Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement, A Guide for Officers and Their Families by Dr. Kevin Gilmartin, has been recommended to provide helpful insights and strategies on how to successfully navigate relationships with those in the law enforcement community and their loved ones. We discussed this topic in a previous video. I will link it up above if you missed it. It goes into a little more detail. Hypervigilance, state of being in which a person is always actively on guard. Strategies to confront hypervigilance. Regularly ask the veteran's overriding question when confronting verbal abuse. Just how important is this? Stop bringing people home with you for dinner who verbally abused you at work. Deflect verbal abuse. Amateurs take words personally, and professionals work to calm a person by paraphrasing back what they interpreted was the meaning of the words. Some argue that using profanity and abrasive language is a way to establish authority when dealing with non-compliant individuals. There are countless examples of controversial and even career-ending encounters caught on tape that turn not solely on legitimate actions, but on police officers' words leading up to, during, and following an encounter. During class, we viewed some terrible and hard-to-watch police videos from across the nation. The video was first played without sound, and our class was asked to determine what was going on based on what we could visually see, focusing primarily on actions and body language. Then the video was shown again with sound so we could actually hear what was going on. I'm not going to lie, most of these videos were very hard to watch, but these were actual events and they are shown in the course to facilitate understanding the need for change and facilitate the coaching of different outcomes for similar situations that officers will likely encounter in the future. Listen to the meaning before you judge the screaming. We watched another video that, based on a short clip captured by a passerby, it looked like downright police brutality. 8 predominantly white officers on one African American suspect. However, what is presented in the public eye is not always what was occurring. You have to be careful these days, both with mainstream media and social media. Corporations and people have their own specific agendas for what is shown. It is more likely never the whole story of an event. The man was shirtless, no shoes, and wandering in the street, interfering with traffic. These are actual screenshots from the video. As in this case, when there was a public outcry for the body cam videos, they were released. I think this occurred in North Carolina. Once the 8 body cam videos were released, it showed the suspect was out of control, aggressive. He was physically attempting to assault all the officers and was not following verbal commands given. He continued to fight with all the officers, and at one point he bit the leg of a female officer for a long, long time. It was absolutely crazy. The officers were demonstrating non-lethal force with tasers and batons, and the man would not stop biting her and would not stop fighting as officers struggled to get the man handcuffed. Once we were able to watch the video with sound, all the officers remained professional. There was no cursing, no profanity, no vulgarities. There were no threats made. There were no unkind sentiments thrown at the suspect. The video was an excellent example of how officers should strive to perform under such similar conditions. Remember, what you see or hear about is usually not the full story. Keep an open mind and gather all the facts before you make a decision on an event. Stop taking things personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Tactical empathy. Listen with empathy so that you can gather intelligence. The goal here is not to be distracted by a person TUI, which oftentimes results in a reaction to words. TUI, talking, texting, or typing under the influence of anxiety, rage, grief, or intoxicating substance. To sum it all up, surviving verbal conflict boils down to serving in a professional manner, showing everyone professional respect, use verbal deflectors to deflect verbal abuse, listen and empathize, give them options, confirm noncompliance, it's the citizen's choice. Remember, every action has a consequence. Normally this class is 8 hours long and we got the condensed version, but I think it was very beneficial and I think every officer should be required to partake in a similar class. It would be nice if they could take it yearly as part of their continued training. 95% of the officers in my local police department have successfully completed the course.
I just got home from class. It was good as usual. We went over de-escalation techniques and verbal communication, things like that. We discussed a lot of things. The most important takeaway was communication, communication, communication. That's the most important step in de-escalating any situation. We watched a lot of videos of body cam videos of police, how not to handle situations, and discussed other ways they could have de-escalated a situation. So that was interesting, but yeah, I didn't record a whole lot tonight, so sorry about that. My police department likes to strive building communications, building strong ties in the community with business leaders and homeowners, and basically strong relationships build a better community. And they focus on building relationships. And make sure you come back next week. We will have the SWAT team demonstration. I'm looking forward to that. Take care. Bye for now.